From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
It's Wednesday, August 19th, and right now on Good Morning Indiana.
I'm trying to be, again, as creative as I can to think of ways that they can make a connection to school without being here.
IPS students and teachers will be logging on for their third day of classes this morning. Our Alyssa Donovan takes us behind the scenes to see how teachers are managing remote learning.
The spike in cases is very serious, and we must take serious steps to address it.
Some colleges and universities are being forced to go back to virtual learning after an increase in cases on campus. What we know about the new restrictions issued for the University of Notre Dame. Governor Eric Holcomb announcing a new plan to improve racial equality in Indiana, including body cameras for Indiana State Police. We talked to the department superintendent about how ISP is reacting to that change. And while some products on store shelves have jumped in price during the pandemic, others are much cheaper. A look at the kind of deals you can find so you don't waste your money. All right, here at 6:02, I want to thank you for joining our team here on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey alongside my colleagues Rafael Sanchez and Todd Clausen, both working from home this Wednesday. And guys, we are halfway through the work week already.
Lauren, good morning to you. As you know, the state fair was canceled, but our Todd Clausen has earned a blue ribbon for an amazing forecast on this Wednesday. Good morning, Todd.
Rafael, good morning to you. Good morning, Lauren. Good morning, everybody. It's absolutely terrific. If you think middle of August, you think heat, humidity a lot of times, and that'll come back. Don't worry if you're a fan of the warmer temperatures in the summer-like weather. But today we are going to enjoy a very cool and comfortable day. Earlier, I should say cool this morning, and then it's very comfortable later on this afternoon. There's the view from downtown off towards the east. Look at Kokomo, 51 degrees here this morning on August the 19th, 57 in Bloomington, 59 in Indianapolis with clear skies. The clouds are down to our south. So is the rain. Nothing but sunshine here this afternoon for us as temperatures will warm pretty quickly this morning, and then we'll top off right around 78 degrees, maybe 79 in some areas between 4 and 6 p.m. And then we'll start to cool things off again later on this evening. But grab the light jacket as you walk out the door. You'll need it, especially there in northern locations. But you'll shed that jacket pretty quickly as we start to warm up, Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. And if you are heading out early this morning, here's a look at your commute. This is over on the east side, a live look from our INDOT traffic camera on I-70 at Post Road. No problems traveling eastbound or westbound. So keep in mind, if you are a driver on the east side of town, we do have some construction closing an off-ramp that's westbound I-70 to the I-465 Shadeland Avenue exit. So maybe your best detour would be right here at Post Road. We'll continue to keep you updated if there are any problems for your commute. Rafael?
It's been a big week for thousands here in Indianapolis today. IPS students, teachers, and their families settling in for the third day of virtual learning.
And teachers are rising to the challenge, especially when there's a language barrier. Our own Alyssa Donovan is joining us live this morning with the details. Hey, Alyssa.
Good morning. Typically, students in the newcomer program would be coming here to Northwest Middle School for class, but just like all other IPS students, they are now doing remote learning. These students in this program are from they just came to the United States, rather, from other countries. So along with core curriculum, they are also learning English at the same time, and this year they're doing all of that virtually. Rachel Mitchell is taking pictures of her classroom to send to her students.
For them to know that that's the place you are going to go back to. Who knows when, but we will. And so that when they come here, when they actually come here, it's not like a foreign place.
It's one of many preparations the English as a Second Language teacher, or ESL, has made to help connect with her 3rd through 5th grade students via remote learning.
I'm trying to be, again, as creative as I can to think of ways that they can make a connection to school without being here.
Teaching reading and writing to students whose first language is not English comes with challenges when kids are physically in school.
So we put the word family in here, and then we're able to make words using the word families.
The language barrier, an added element for Mitchell when it comes to remotely teaching, which is why she felt it was so important that her setup stayed as familiar as possible.
Teaching from the classroom will give us a lot more opportunity to teach the way we would normally teach, and them see us in action the way they normally would, and have access to the learning that that would be more natural for them.
Ensuring students understand how their devices and technology works is going to be a daily review for Mitchell's classes, along with what she calls brain breaks to fight fatigue and keep kids focused.
Sitting in front of the computer for hours on end, it's tiring for us, so we've been thinking of cool ways that we can get the kids moving and active and keeping them engaged, because it's going to be a long day every day.
Mitchell says it's going to be a learning process for everyone. She and other teachers will be swapping ideas as the school year progresses to make remote learning as successful as possible. And another concern that Mitchell has is that not all of our students are going to log in on time or even at all as weeks go on at 9 a.m. when class is supposed to start. But the district has prepared for that. If students are not logging in for class, they have staff that are going to call home and make sure they are online when class starts. And the teachers actually have an app called WhatsApp that they can video chat their students to make sure that they are getting their education. Reporting live, I'm Alyssa Donovan, WRTV.
Alyssa, thank you. So in-person undergrad classes up at Notre Dame are now suspended after a spike in COVID-19 cases on that campus. The university says students will take part in remote instruction only for the next 2 weeks. 147 cases have been confirmed since the semester started last week. The university president says he decided against sending students home after consulting with health experts. But student activity is restricted, and that includes limited access to dorms and major gathering places on campus.
As we continue to follow safely getting back to school, at Greenfield Central High School, football games have been temporarily suspended after a player tested positive for the virus. According to a letter sent to parents, the football player began experiencing symptoms of COVID-19 on Monday. All players and members of the football staff are in a 14-day quarantine. The suspension will last through the end of the month, and so upcoming games against Plainfield and Whiteland high schools have been canceled and will not be rescheduled.
Now to the latest on the coronavirus pandemic here in our state. 850 more Hoosiers have tested positive. That brings the total number of infections to 81,847. The overall positivity rate has dropped a bit to 8.8%, and the 7-day positivity rate has also dropped to 7.8%. 28 additional deaths were also reported. That's the highest daily reported increase since June 6th. A total of 2,954 people in our state have lost their lives to the coronavirus.
Metro Police are getting them, and now State Police will also be the next to get body cameras sometime next spring. And new this morning, State Police Superintendent Doug Carter explains to WRTV why this is critical for this statewide agency. Superintendent Carter, thank you for joining us.
You're very welcome. Thanks for the invite, Raphael.
So what does this mean that State Police sometime next year will begin being outfitted with body cameras?
Now, something I thought we would see, quite frankly. But here we are, and we will develop and implement a very thoughtful, a very sustainable, and a very complete camera project. And we are well underway to do that right now.
Outside of the big cities, really, it is state police territory. So how critical is this body camera program to the state's law enforcement?
The accountability for the Indiana State Trooper lies with me. And you and I have had the conversation before, and accountability and are holding them accountable for their actions. So this is as much for the frontline trooper as it is for our citizenry. We don't have have not had in the last 7.5 years that I've been the superintendent of this agency. It's still hard for me to even be able to say that, where we had he said, she said. So we just don't have very many of those. But I've got to stop looking back at a period of time where I was a young trooper, and look, I've got to get over that. And the perception now of that young frontline state trooper, sheriff's deputy, city policeman, town marshal, whatever that might be, is very different than what I experienced. And I have to recognize that, and I've got to hear it, and I have. Superintendent
Doug Carter with Indiana State Police, thank you so much for your time.
You bet, Raphael. Thanks for having me.
The price tag to buy the cameras for state police right now is $5 million. The agency will need an extra $1.5 million, Lauren, annually just to support the technology.
Raphael, thank you. Well, there are some opportunities to learn more about Indigo's Purple Line today. That rapid transit line will connect downtown to Lawrence. Indigo will host 2 open houses at Cafe Indy on East 38th Street. The first goes from 11 to 1 o'clock. The second will be held from 5 to 7:30. And then on Thursday, the public is invited to a Purple Party from 11 to 2 at the Transit Center downtown. There will be music, giveaways, and updates on the project. Just don't forget to wear a mask.
So let me now take you to Hancock County. In Greenfield, you will have a chance to save a life as well as to get up close and personal to some of those big machines that help harvest the food on your dining room table. Today from 10 until 4, you can give blood at the Koenig John Deere dealership. Now, because of the nationwide blood shortages, the John Deere dealership thought it would be a good chance for the community to also donate blood at a unique location. And while you're there, you can also get up close and personal to the tractors and all those big pieces of equipment. There will also be safety demonstrations and hands-on driving opportunities for all who attend.
Well, Joe Biden is officially the Democratic nominee for president. Coming up, a look at the convention celebration and what you can expect tonight.
And amid concerns with the Postal Service, some states are looking at other options for ballots. One option, we'll explain that next. But this morning, we are all giving Todd Clausen our stamp of approval on what is a beautiful Wednesday in central Indiana.
It really is, Raphael. You don't get these days very often in the middle of August. You need to take advantage of them. We're starting off in the 50s this morning and even getting very close to the upper 40s in Kokomo. You definitely need to have the jacket up there. 59 in Indianapolis. Radar is quiet. Despite the cool start, it turns into a very pleasant and bright afternoon. More on that when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
Welcome back. So Joe Biden was officially nominated as the Democratic Party's nominee for president at the Democratic National Convention after a roll call of delegates.
And Scripps correspondent Joe St. George joins us with highlights from Tuesday night's event and what we can expect on this Wednesday.
Joe Biden officially nominated the Democratic Party's nominee for president on night 2 of the Democratic Convention.
And I'll see you on Thursday.
And while the former vice president will speak at length tomorrow, Dr. Jill Biden speaking last night with the classroom as her backdrop.
And with Joe as president, these classrooms will ring out with laughter and possibility once again.
The evening also featured former presidents who had no problem going after the current commander-in-chief.
You know what Donald Trump will do with 4 more years? Blame, bully, and belittle.
The evening, though, producing some controversy.
I hereby second the nomination of Senator Bernard Sanders of Vermont.
With progressive Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez not using her time to praise Joe Biden, but rather to formally nominate Bernie Sanders. On Twitter, she clarified that she was just following the convention rules, but some online believed the progressive leader speaks for Sanders supporters, and she deserved more than just a 1-minute speech.
The Biden campaign has said that criticism is unfounded, arguing this is a virtual convention and speaking times vary. But one progressive member of Congress who will have plenty of time tonight will be Senator Kamala Harris, as her story takes center stage.
The partnership of the Biden-Harris ticket is a big focus of this convention.
Biden campaign spokeswoman Kate Bedingfield says the partnership of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden is crucial to the campaign and will be in focus as she speaks tonight. But there is a chance the California senator is upstaged. Speaking tonight as well is former President Barack Obama. In Washington, I'm Joe St. George.
So changes to the Postal Service have been put on hold. You may have heard about this, but this is not stopping election officials across the country from finding other options to make sure that your vote is counted. So officials from across the country, they're looking at installing a lot of more ballot drop boxes. These would be in libraries, community centers, and other public places. This would allow ballots to reach election officials without going through the mail. Now, states like Oregon and Washington and Colorado have been successfully using these ballot drop boxes now for a number of years. As you head outside and go to your mailbox, Todd Clausen is delivering a fantastic forecast. Good morning, Todd.
Yeah, Raphael, it's really terrific out there. We told you this nice weather was coming. We had that little speed bump yesterday morning with some of that rain that moved through, but then in the afternoon hours, we got into the sunshine. Think yesterday afternoon, and that's what we're going to have in our afternoon forecast today, and that's the sunshine, the low humidity, and temperatures that will be in the 70s. This morning, though, as you look at your headlines, it's a cool start, no doubt about that, with temperatures in the 50s, but this afternoon, nothing but sunshine, and this evening, near perfect if you want to grill out. I did that yesterday evening, or maybe just find a patio here somewhere across central Indiana. Look at the beautiful sunrise taking place, and then you get to the temperatures in Kokomo down to 51 degrees here this morning, 59 in the city, 59 in Greenwood, and Muncie currently at 54. So some locations to the north getting oh so close to the upper 40s here on this Wednesday morning. One of the reasons why is the skies are clear, and we have that new air mass in place. The rain yesterday was a front that was moving through, and once that front went through, we dropped the humidity, and also we brought in a cooler air mass. But once the sun gets a little higher above the horizon here, we'll see our temperatures start to moderate fairly quickly this morning. 11 a.m. up to 71 degrees. By 2 p.m. we're up to 76 degrees, and as we continue into the afternoon hours, highs today will top off in the mid to upper 70s. That's below normal, but with the sunshine and the low humidity, it will be really, really nice out there. And then throughout the course of this evening, we'll cool off back down eventually into the 60s as we head into the 10 o'clock hour. So if you do have plans this evening and it involves being out a little bit later, make sure you have the light jacket handy. Now tonight, once again, temperatures will drop back down into the 50s, 57 degrees as you wake up tomorrow morning with a mainly clear sky. And just like today, throughout the day tomorrow will warm very, very quickly, although I do think tomorrow afternoon we're probably a couple degrees warmer. We should top off right around 82 degrees, I would say, just after the 4 o'clock hour, and then back down to 75 by 8 p.m. And then looking ahead in this forecast, Friday, Saturday, and then into race Sunday, temperatures will continue to moderate. We get back up into the mid-80s. Saturday is dry. Sunday, the chance of a spot storm in the forecast right now. It looks like just about a 20% chance of an isolated storm on race day during the afternoon hours. And then Monday and Tuesday, creeping into the upper 80s, closer to 90 degrees once again. So a bit of a fall-like feel here today, but summer in full swing yet here across central Indiana as that warming trend, Lauren, heads our way.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a live look right now at traffic as you're heading out on the roads to kick off your Wednesday. Here's a live look at I-70 and Mount Comfort Road, the spot of typically some construction. And it looks like the orange barrels are pulled out of the travel lanes. Traffic on Mount Comfort Road and I-70 looks to be traveling up to speed, so that's great news this morning. We'll have more for you coming up just after the break. Stay with us right here on Good Morning Indiana on WRTV. Welcome back. It is 6:24. Raphael, it's time to talk about what is trending at 6.
So I want to talk about the power of one. Sometimes you may have an idea at home. You think, can I do this? Yes, you can. And check this out. Let me take you to New Jersey, where a woman turns a hobby into a fundraiser for a local dog rescue. You see, Jennifer Polito Mount made a digital portrait of her dogs and posted it to Facebook. She got such a strong reaction that Polito Mount started taking requests in order to raise money for the Home for Good Dog Rescue. Now, she hoped, Lauren, here's the thing, she hoped to raise, $500, which is a lot of money, but so far, she's brought in more than $4,000.
Wow.
The power of one. So if you have a good idea, come on this morning. Time to do it.
Dog portraits, there you go. Well, a Philadelphia Eagles player, Jalen Hurts, made a young fan's day on Twitter. 6-year-old Alexander August's mom posted a photo of the boy's backpack with Hurts' name on it. Well, the rookie quarterback saw the message and had an adorable reply, so Hurts got his own blue backpack and had Alexander's name stitched on it, which also happens to be his middle name. Alexander was so excited to hear from Jalen, and he's working on writing a thank you letter. That is super sweet.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Sweet. And congratulations to Specialist First Class Austin Sims. He may be familiar, we've talked about him before, but this morning, Austin is today's hometown hero. In July, he was named Sailor of the Quarter for the Great Lakes. He has served in the Navy now for 9 years. His team says that the man from Carmel does phenomenal work day in and day out. Thank you to him and to all those who serve. Now time to check your forecast with Todd Clausen, who is standing by. Good morning, Todd.
Raphael, good morning to you. A beautiful sunrise taking place here this morning across central Indiana. Take a look at it from IMS looking back east towards downtown Indianapolis. The skyline looking absolutely terrific. And then even further off in the distance, you can see the sky starting to brighten. Sunrise officially not for just about another half hour or so, but obviously we're off to a really, really nice start. It's a cool start though. 51 in Kokomo right now, 59 in Indianapolis. Despite the cool start, we're going up to a high temperature today of 79 degrees with nothing but sunshine. Very comfortable as the humidity remains very low and just a little bit of a light breeze throughout the day today. So take advantage of today. It's not very often that we get a day like this here in the middle of August.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. So it might seem like everything is more expensive this year, especially if you take a good look at your grocery bill. But consumer reporter John Matarese shows us some things are actually costing less these days, so you don't waste your money.
We're all familiar with the grocery items that are rising in price this year, from steak to Lysol wipes, if you can find any. But the pandemic is sending prices on some items down this year.
A few weeks back, we spoke with barbecue truck owner Tyreek Ramsey, struggling with the soaring price of beef.
It's almost like double, triple.
While beef prices now easing, grocery prices are up 3% this year. But a new report in RatherBeShopping.com lists some things cheaper in 2020, among them clothing, with 60% discounts common on clothes for work or social gatherings. New cars, Hyundai is offering 0% financing, while others are offering big cash back. Mortgages near an all-time low of 3% on a 30-year. Gas, it's up a bit now, but still well below its 5-year average. Credit reports, the big 3 agencies are making them free this year, and travel with $400 hotel rooms, just $100 in some big cities. But from the doesn't that stink file, one thing rising in price, used cars. The average used car is now $21,000, according to USA Today, up $700 this year. That's because of short supply and high demand for used cars. Want a deal? Buy a car, not an SUV. Prices are dirt cheap on unloved sedans.
Good news is that not everything is costing more this year. Good to know if money's tight, so you don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese. Good morning, Indiana.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
Now on Good Morning Indiana on this Wednesday morning, here's a look at your 6:30 news feed. Bond has been set at $20 million for a man charged in several cold case crimes out in Shelby County. Prosecutors say Stephen Ray Hessler is linked to several crimes committed more than 35 years ago through DNA evidence. Court documents say they include rape, burglary, and robbery charges.
Today, the city of Indianapolis will announce plans to help downtown businesses rebound as this pandemic continues. Mayor Joe Hogsett and the president of Downtown Indy Inc. will announce city funding for new initiatives that have been developed by the Downtown Recovery Committee. It is part of a comprehensive plan to address the economic, public health, and public safety challenges facing downtown Indianapolis.
And now to the latest on the coronavirus pandemic in our state. 850 more Hoosiers have tested positive. The overall positivity rate, though, dropping to 8.8%, and the 7-day positivity rate has also dropped to 7.8%. 28 additional deaths were also reported. That's the highest daily reported increase since June 6th.
Zionsville now going to the dogs. The mayor and Parks Board have announced plans for the city's first dog park. The 3.5-acre park will be located at Zionsville's Heritage Trail Park. As part of the future plans for the park, additional parking will be added, as well as a playground for older kids will be also included in that. It's hoped that it will be ready to go by the end of the year. And this morning would be a great time to walk your dog. Now, I don't have a dog. The neighbors do. So if the neighbors are awake, I will step outside after 7, neighbors, and I will walk your dog. So there you have it on this Wednesday morning. Lauren, good morning to you.
Oh, good morning to you. I hope they're awake, Raphael, because that would be a sight. Todd, what can folks expect as they are waking up this Wednesday morning?
You know, I think the first thing you're going to do is if you walk out the door this morning, you're going to be a little shocked how cool it is in some spots across the area as temperatures have fallen into the 50s with clear skies, but it's a really comfortable morning. But some of you may want to have the light jacket handy as you get going on this Wednesday. 54 in Muncie, we're down to 51 in Kokomo, 57 in Bloomington, just running slightly warmer as usual in the metro area with the temperature right now in Indy of 59 degrees. Here's the sky starting to brighten. Beautiful shot from IMS looking back towards downtown Indianapolis. The skies cleared yesterday. The clouds now down to our south, off to our east, and high pressure's in control for the day today, and that means we'll have sunshine from start to finish throughout the day today. Your 8 a.m. temperature still a little on the cool side at 59 degrees, but we take a big jump forward with the sunshine up to 74 degrees by the noon hour. And then your high temperature today will top off in near 80 degrees with mostly sunny skies. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thank you. Let's take a look at traffic as you are heading out on the roads this morning. Heading over to the east side, I-70 here of you near Mount Comfort Road. Aside of some ongoing construction, and this morning we do have a right lane closure on I-70. This is near 600. This is in the eastbound side. No delays there to slow you down. And then closer to the downtown area as you're traveling westbound on I-70, Shadeland Avenue off-ramp is closed. That will last until Friday at 12 o'clock a.m. So an ongoing construction project there. You could always use Post Road as a detour if you're traveling there on the east side. Raphael?
A big good morning to Fishers, Greenwood, and Avon. And no matter where you live, virtual learning, some of you call it remote learning, is a new challenge for everyone. Teachers, students, Lauren, and for many, many families.
Yes, and so for one program at Indianapolis Public Schools, there's actually an added hurdle, and that's a language barrier. So our Alyssa Donovan is joining us live this morning with more details on that. Hey, Alyssa.
Good morning. Typically, students in the newcomer program through IPS, they would be coming to class here at Northwest Middle School. But like all IPS students, they are now doing remote learning. Students in this program are new to the United States. So along with all their core competencies, they're also learning English at the same time. And this year, they're doing all of that virtually, which does create some challenges. We spoke with a teacher for ESL, Rachel Mitchell. She teaches English as a second language, or ESL, to 3rd through 5th graders. Before school started this week, she sent some pictures of the classroom to her students so that when they return in person, they're familiar with the setting. Teaching reading and writing to students whose first language is not English comes with challenges when kids are physically in school. The language barrier, an added element for Mitchell when it comes to remotely teaching, which is why she felt it was so important that her setup stayed as familiar as possible. She'll be rolling around a cart with a laptop on it in her classroom, showing students how to sound out words on her whiteboard and teaching them greetings through her handwritten charts. Along with English, reading, and writing lessons, remote learning also means helping students learn new technology. Mitchell says she'll be reviewing how to use remote devices and Microsoft Teams daily, along with what she calls brain breaks to fight fatigue and keep kids focused.
Sitting in front of the computer for hours on end, it's tiring for us, so we've been thinking of cool ways that we can get the kids moving and active and keeping them engaged, because it's going to be a long day every day.
Mitchell says it's going to be a learning process for everyone. She and other teachers will be swapping ideas as the school year progresses to make remote learning as successful as possible. And she explained some of those brain breaks to me. She says they're going to be standing up and doing breathing exercise with the students. They're also going to be pounding a drum. The students can pound back to make sure that they are alert, awake, and enthusiastically learning. And they're also going to be using a website called Noodle, where students can kind of do these exercises and dances to keep their energy up and keep them engaged in their learning. Reporting live, I'm Alyssa Donovan, WRTV.
I will mandate the use of body cameras for every frontline state trooper by spring of 2021.
The new mandate for body cameras was one of several measures announced by the governor to address racial injustice in our state. The governor also says that his plan will create a new cabinet position. That position is called the Chief Equity and Inclusion and Opportunity Officer. The governor also says he will add civilians to the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy Board, which oversees the state's top police training site, and he wants recommendations from multiple agencies to make sure that workplace programs are accessible to all. We spoke to the president of Martin University here in Indianapolis, who had discussions with the governor about those topics.
Absolutely, it's going to be attacking and addressing those predominant barriers that have always helped to create the gaps that exist.
So, Mr. President, will you be in an advisory role, or will you be part of the team, per se, moving that needle?
Yeah, we haven't talked about me having a formal role as an advisor. The governor and I have stayed in close contact with each other. He has been very helpful in connecting Martin University and me personally with some of the key leaders throughout the state to talk about how Martin University.
President Huddleston is also working with the mayor of Indianapolis, reviewing the protests that we saw in our city back here in May and in June. He and two others are expected to release their findings to the mayor by December. This morning here on Good Morning Indiana, we are also hearing from the state police superintendent, whose officers will be wearing body cameras sometime beginning next spring. The state plans to spend about $5 million on that program alone. Here's State Police Superintendent Doug Carter on Good Morning Indiana. This was not your priority when we last spoke earlier this summer.
Body cameras weren't even on my priority list. They weren't on the list at all for me. And then 2020 happens. And it really caused me to take a step back and look at this differently. The logical next step is to do this, and we will, and we'll do it correctly. Remember, that camera doesn't think, sense, it doesn't train, it doesn't feel. It only captures what it sees. So while I recognize there's a desire for all police officers to have these body cameras, understand that they're mechanical devices that can fail. So it's important that I take the responsibility seriously and I do this correctly, and I commit to the front line and to the citizens of our state that I will.
Superintendent Doug Carter with Indiana State Police, thank you so much for your time.
You bet, Raphael. Thanks for having me.
All the best to you. The governor's camera plan, Lauren, will also require an extra $1.5 million annually to support the new technology.
Well, Raphael, he is officially their nominee. Next, how Democrats went after more people from the other side of the political aisle on night 2 of their convention. The time right here is 6:38. We'll be back after the break.
The Hoosier State is ready to lead America's recovery with our diverse communities, our talented workers, and our best in the world agriculture. Joe Biden's plan gives us a blueprint to revitalize industrial cities and rural areas alike.
Joe Biden's former presidential rival and the former mayor of South Bend formally giving Indiana's delegates to the man who is now officially the Democratic presidential nominee. While Biden gives his formal acceptance speech tomorrow night, Democrats continue to use their convention to showcase what they believe is Biden's appeal to Americans of all political stripes.
The convention already featured some of the Democrats' mainstays, but as ABC's Ines de la Cuetara reports, some Republicans were also given some key speaking slots.
Very much. Former Vice President Joe Biden officially becoming the Democratic nominee for president, with his wife, Dr. Jill Biden, by his side, closing out the second night of a virtual DNC.
The heart of this nation still beats with kindness and courage. That's the soul of America Joe Biden is fighting for now.
From former President Bill Clinton.
The difference is stark. You know what Donald Trump will do with 4 more years? Blame, bully, and belittle. And you know what Joe Biden will do? Build back better.
To the 17 rising star Democrats that spoke in lieu of a traditional keynote address. Democrats working hard to show that the party is united and calling members of all groups and ages to get out and vote.
I've been doing this for a long time, so let me just be plain. Black people, especially black women, are the backbone of this party. And if we don't show up, Democrats don't get elected.
For a second night, the party also making a point to feature Republicans, like former George W. Bush Secretary of State Colin Powell, who threw his support behind Biden.
Our country needs a commander-in-chief who takes care of our troops in the same way he would his own family.
And Cindy McCain speaking in a touching video about Biden's friendship with her late husband, Republican Senator John McCain.
They would just sit and joke. It was like a comedy show sometimes to watch the two of them.
Meanwhile, President Trump trying to distract attention from the Democrats out on the stump in critical swing states.
This election that we're going into is the most important election in the history of our country. Because we had crooked Hillary, but this is something, these people are sick.
Tonight, it'll be former President Barack Obama's turn to speak. A spokesperson tells ABC News he plans to warn that democracy itself is on the line and outline why Biden and his running mate Kamala Harris have the character and experience needed to lead America out of the COVID-19 crisis. Inez Deliquatera, ABC News, Washington.
Inez, thank you. Our coverage of Democracy 2020 continues this evening with night 3 of the Democratic Convention. As you just heard, the featured speakers will include Vice Presidential nominee Kamala Harris and former President Barack Obama. Live coverage begins at 10 p.m. right here on WRTV. And be sure to stay for the news at 11 right after our convention coverage.
Well, it wasn't a start to the playoffs the Pacers were hoping for. Next, a recap of their series opener with the Heat and how a big part of the Pacers offense left the game a little early. Todd.
And Lauren, it's a beautiful morning in progress here across central Indiana as the kids head off to the bus stop. If they are heading to the school, you're walking out to temperatures in the 50s. But as the kids come home, they'll be able to come outside with plenty of sunshine and temperatures that are in the 70s. The humidity is very low for the day today, but it climbs as we head into the weekend. We'll talk about the forecast for you coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. It is 6:47 and we are keeping a close eye on traffic this morning as you're heading out the door at this hour. Right now, no major crashes or issues to slow you down around the interstate. Here's a live look at I-70, a view here at Mount Comfort Road. So Raphael, the NBA playoffs, they're underway 4 months later than we originally planned. And the Pacers earned the number 4 seed in the Eastern Conference.
And this morning, our Brad Brown shows us how Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat took on an early series lead.
Familiar foes in the first round of the playoffs. The teams just played each other twice last week. Tuesday's Game 1 got off to a less than ideal start for the Pacers. Just 8.5 minutes in, Victor Oladipo got poked in the eye going for a rebound. Turned out to be a pretty significant scratch, and Oladipo would have to leave the game. He did not return. The offense would be there early on, though. T.J. Warren scored 9 of his team best 22 points in the opening quarter. Pacers scored 33 in the first, opened an 8-point lead. Malcolm Brogdon did what he could in Vic's absence, a dunk to close out the first half. He also scored 22, but Miami would turn in a 4-point lead at halftime. In the third, a run by the Heat would put them up by 10. Bam Adebayo with some aggressive play all afternoon. He scored 17 for Miami. Pacers cut it to 1 at the end of the third. T.J. McConnell pulls up and hits 81-80 at that quarter break, but Miami dominated the final frame. Goran Dragic hit for 13 points in a 5-minute stretch, and Jimmy Butler would lead all scorers for the Heat with 28 points. 113-101 when it was finished. It's Miami getting the 1-0 lead in the best-of-7 series.
The dynamics change, but that's been one of our strengths all season is we haven't had everybody, every guy throughout the, down the stretch. So, usually we've been able to overcome it, but that's a really good team on the other side. So, now we got to adjust. We know what we're dealing with or without Vic. We got to be able to adjust and play basketball.
They picked up their intensity the second half, starting with the third quarter. I thought we did a better job of taking care of the ball, but the fourth quarter we started to turn the ball over more in that they executed going down the stretch.
They capitalized on our mistakes late in the game, and they was hitting shots. We had a couple of defensive mistakes, and they made us pay.
After the game, the Pacers said Oladipo visited the league's clinic on site. His eye injury is not expected to be serious. He's officially listed as day-to-day for now. The teams will play every other day in the first round. Game 2 coming up on Thursday will be an early tip at 1 p.m. Game 3 Saturday, Game 4 next Monday. Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
All right, thank you there, Brad. Good luck to the Pacers here. Game 2, let's go get that win tomorrow, starting 1 o'clock. All right, temperatures outside right now are sitting in the 50s. It's a cooler start to our day across the area with temperatures as cool as 51 in Kokomo. That's the coolest temperature I've seen so far today. It's 59 in Indianapolis, 57 in Bloomington, Richmond down to 53 degrees. So many of you may want the light jacket as you get going here on this Wednesday morning. Here's the view from IMS towards downtown Indianapolis as the skies start to brighten here this morning. Radar is quiet. Yesterday morning, obviously, we were dealing with that rain moving through. That was part of the front that has ushered in this very, very comfortable air mass that's now in place across the area as high pressure is firmly in control. And we will have a high pressure in control today and tomorrow. So if for some reason you can't take advantage of the nice temperatures here for the day today, and you'll have tomorrow as an opportunity to do so as well. We're still in the 50s, probably for the next 2 hours or so, and then the temperatures will really start to moderate. And you notice by the time we get to the noon hour, the temperature is up to 74 degrees. Then as we continue throughout the afternoon hours today, highs will be in the upper 70s. So a little bit below normal temperature-wise, but with the sunshine, the low humidity, it's going to feel absolutely terrific out there throughout the course of the day today. We do it all over again tomorrow morning. We're back down into the 50s. So temperatures 24 hours from now, very, very similar. 53 in Peru, about 57, the overnight low in Bloomington. Then as you look at your planner for the day tomorrow, it's going to look very similar to today. The only difference is tomorrow I do think we get a couple degrees warmer in the afternoon hours. So instead of about 78, 79 for your high temperature on Thursday, we should be able to make the jump up to around 80 to 82 degrees during the afternoon hours. Then looking ahead to your weekend, Friday, partly cloudy, 84. We continue to moderate the temperatures into the weekend. And then, of course, the big day on Sunday for the Indy 500 race day, there is the chance of a spot storm that'll probably build into the forecast, but it's only about a 20% chance. So nothing to worry about at this point. We'll be able to fine tune that forecast as we get a little bit closer, as it's just going to be some of these pop-up storms. There's no front that's going to be coming through or anything like that. But then look at Monday and Tuesday. Highs will be closer to 90 degrees. So a bit of a fall-like feel here today and even tomorrow morning. But then summer still hanging around, obviously. It is August after all, and we'll be back into the mid to upper 80s again for the weekend and into next week. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic as you're heading out on the roads right now. We do have heavier traffic up here in the Dog Leg, I-65, a view near I-865, an active construction zone off in the right top corner. You can see some flashing lights of crews out there working. The orange barrels there out on the roads, and most of those off into the shoulder. So just use caution as you travel through that spot and take it a little bit slower so you can watch for workers.
So Lauren, the drinks and good cheer are coming to a close. Next, how a place made famous by Sam, Diane, and Norm says that last call is just around the corner. We'll explain when Good Morning Indiana continues on this Wednesday morning. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. For some folks who live in Boston or Boston, depending on how you say it, it's time for them to find another bar, Lauren, where everyone knows your name.
And that's because, Raphael, the Cheers Bar at Boston's Faneuil Hall Marketplace is closing after 20 years in business. The bar was built to mimic the fictional bar in the legendary 1980s TV show. But the owner says the doors will officially close on August 30th. He blames the landlord for refusing to forgive rent when they were shut down from March to June during the pandemic. The original location on Boston's Beacon Street, which actually inspired the bar on Cheers, is remaining open. So something I think we can all cheers to this week, Raphael and Todd, is a great week of weather here in central Indiana.
Here, cheers
Yeah, you know,
to this amazing forecast, Todd Clausen.
Yeah, you know, we got the rain out of the way yesterday morning, and by the afternoon, the sunshine was out. And now that the sunshine's out, we're going to enjoy it for the next couple days. And you'll notice a warming trend heading our way as well. Today, still very, very comfortable with highs in the upper 70s. Tomorrow morning, we start in the 50s once again, up to 82 degrees. And then we'll start to build back in the mid 80s as we head into race weekend, and then upper 80s by next week. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We're back here in 25 minutes and all throughout Good Morning America with news, weather, and traffic updates. Have a great Wednesday.